Hey guys, Patrick Donovan, eXp Realty, part of the Johnson Group here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. I'm here with Brandon Giebler from Next Move Realty. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm recovering from a cold. It's been like a week. I've been just laying on the couch like
I
a
hope you
dead
took
bird.
your zinc.
I didn't. That's probably why it took so long. Well, today's show, we got a special one here. We got the newly inaugurated mayor of Port Wentworth, Tracy Saunders, on joining us today. I'm super excited. And then we're going to be talking about some events that are going on this weekend, which is pretty cool. So I'm super excited to have the first female mayor of Port Wentworth on. Tracy Saunders, thank you for coming on. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Doing well. Happy to have you on here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
How was the inauguration? How did it go?
It went really well. I didn't trip and I didn't cuss and I only cried a little bit. So my part of it, I thought it went off swimmingly.
You look stunning too, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Right.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
That was
absolutely.
beautiful.
I had a lot of help. I am not known for my fashion sense, so I haven't
Well,
shot.
it looked like it was effortless. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
thank you for coming on. I appreciate
Where's the applause thing? The applause.
it. Oh, hold on, I got it. Let me.
Applause.
You do it. Here we go. There we go.
Curtsy.
Yep.
Love that.
So how y'all doing?
Doing the best.
Good.
Thriving, living, working, sweating.
Cow horns are killing me.
I hate it so much.
No, you don't.
You're right. So we'll get into some of the questions that we have planned for you. Are you prepared for this?
I'm as prepared as I'm ever going to be.
Perfect. So let's get on with it then.
All right, let's do it.
So now that you've officially been sworn as mayor, what has surprised you most about stepping into the role compared to, serving before your inauguration?
There have been lots of surprises. I think the one I should have expected but didn't really see coming is the fact that it's not nearly as part-time as the paperwork would lead you to believe. It's definitely an everyday something new all the time kind of a job. It's not a complaint. I'm loving it. It's a fantastic opportunity to learn and to get to know people and to do what I love to do, which is to help other people. The time commitment was kind of a surprise, but it shouldn't have been, because even leading up to inauguration, the time commitment was pretty intense. So that was a surprise. And I'm learning a lot about the things that people perceive about local government and where those perceptions come from, and the fact that they're not totally wrong in what they think, but they're wrong in their assessment of what they think, if that makes sense.
Well put.
Like, I assumed that you had an office, and then I learned that the mayor of Port Wentworth doesn't have an office. So I didn't understand that at all.
No, my office is the trunk of my car. I have 2 file lock boxes that I actually finished putting stuff in and started organizing today. So I've got, paperwork and background research on a lot of stuff in one box, and current issues and city council meetings in another. So yeah, that's my office.
Wow. I was really blown away. Hey, they're going to make room at Anchor Park for you, because, come on.
I would love that.
Have this beautiful facility. Why not have the mayor there? That'd be great. All right. So how do you plan to keep communication open between City Hall and residents, especially when decisions are controversial or emotionally charged?
So that's kind of a multi-level question. Part of just doing the job of mayor is doing things like this, coming and talking to you guys, taking questions from people who are watching, being present in the community and being present on social media. Those are things that I promised to do when I was running for office. And what I would really like to do is be able to meet people where they are as far as their social media platforms, whether they're on, Facebook or Instagram or I used Nextdoor and Reddit a lot when I was running, and they were really great. So the idea that I'm going to be on social media a lot, for some of the older people who aren't on social media, that's not where I'm going to be able to meet them. So
Right.
I need to hear from people, where do you need me to be to communicate information to you? Do you use the website? Do you use the app? Do you check in with these guys once a week? Do you
Which you
the
should. I mean, I'm
newsletter
just
that
saying.
sometimes that comes out with your utility bill or with your water bill every month? What can I do to reach you? And I need people to reach out to me and tell me these things. As far as the emotionally charged conversations, the first thing that I will tell anybody is that we don't have to agree on everything to get along. We don't have to agree on everything to be kind to each other or to be polite and respectful. My biggest role in that situation, I think, will probably come in council meetings when people come to talk to city council members. I have very high expectations of people, and I expect them to respect themselves enough to follow the basic rules of order and to treat us with the respect that they want to be treated with. And I can
I think,
promise
the last city council meeting, of course, it was charged that I was at
you.
with the data centers, but they were like yelling at, it was the same thing with planning and zoning. I'm sitting there and they're yelling at me like I did something. I'm like,
Yeah.
I
And
didn't do anything.
that's just it.
It's like, why are you yelling at me? Like, I don't
Yeah,
understand.
if you want me to pay attention to you, don't yell at me. Don't call me names. Don't accuse me of terrible things, unless you have proof. And, that's a whole other thing. But kindness goes a long way. Respect goes a long way. And honestly, making an effort goes a long way. And those are just things I sort of expect of people.
It seems like we lost that a little bit within the years, sadly.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that social media makes it really easy for people to sit behind their keyboard and say things that they would never say to another person to their face.
Was it a keyboard warrior?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Speaking of, I want to say thank you all for coming on. By the way, if you're watching, please hit the like button. But I want to catch up with the comments. Josh said, "No office. That's crazy."
Right?
I know, dude. It's crazy. I don't
Well,
understand it, but whatever.
I asked about it because my house is very crowded and I don't have an office space at home. And because the mayor and the city council are considered part-time, they didn't have space in that building for part-time employees, which, I mean, it makes sense. But I was like, man, I really wanted a desk.
Yeah, I got you. I feel you on that.
The whole point of being mayor is to get your own nice office. Come on.
No, the whole point of being mayor is to get the giant key.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh man.
The giant.
You know what I'm talking about? The big key to the city.
Yeah, put it on your wall.
Heck yeah.
It could be your background instead of horns.
There you go.
So if a resident is frustrated or confused about what's happening in the city right now, what would you say is the best way for them to get informed and involved without feeling overwhelmed with the data centers?
I think the first thing that they need to do is realize that they have 4 people on city council that are there to represent them. They have me as the mayor. They have their council representative based on where they live. And they have 2 at-large candidates. So there are 4 people right there that they can reach out to and say, hey, I don't know what to do about this. I don't know who to talk to. That would be my first suggestion. And honestly, if we're doing our jobs, the first thing that we're going to ask is, who have you contacted at City Hall? And a lot of times people don't know who to contact. So they just kind of stew in their frustration, and that kind of boils over into like a general attitude about the city, when simply calling or emailing or texting one of us and saying, hey, I'm having this problem. Who do I talk to? We can help them solve that. So, my email is not blowing up. I've gotten 2 emails about city issues, one came from a guy who doesn't even live in Port Wentworth. I've gotten a couple messages on Facebook, and I've talked to some people in person, but I can't speak for everybody, but my communication devices are not being blown up by people reaching out.
I'm curious, what did the person that doesn't live in Port Wentworth have to say?
It was all about the data centers and the possibility of one coming here, and lots of background research. Honestly, it was a really well-written letter with a lot of links to resources, which I honestly found really helpful. So
Well, that's awesome. And, you know, because I feel like a lot of people in Chatham County, including Effingham County, feel like it's all linked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad they're at least reaching out to you. And if you're looking to get a hold of Tracy, right here is her number and right here is her email. Okay. Actually, let me hide these comments because it might be in the way real quick.
Don't be a keyboard warrior and call her.
Call or email. What do you prefer? You don't care either way?
I don't care either way. I get a notification on my phone for phone calls, for text messages, and for emails. But keep in mind, I am still a public school teacher from 7 to 3. So if you call me during the day, chances are I won't answer. There are times that I can text occasionally, but after 3 o'clock, I will definitely be back in touch.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. I just wanted to make sure everybody saw that so you know how to get a hold of her. So let me just get out of this thing here. Sorry. So, okay, now we did do Facebook, right? So that was, I did a poll on Facebook, and this is kind of what way it shook out. So I asked, okay, if you had a question to ask the new mayor, what would you want to ask about? So data center was number one. Obviously, it's a prevailing dominant topic in our area since there's been rumors that they're
And
coming
on this page,
across the street, right? And then infrastructure being second, obviously, with the drainage issues, the road, the traffic, all that kind of stuff. So that was what we put out on Facebook. And I want to catch up on the comments real quick. Jive the upstart. A part-time executive official is diabolical. A public servant time 2 over. Wow. Right. Teacher and mayor. Whoa.
What's harder, being a teacher or the mayor?
They are surprisingly similar jobs. You know, it's
I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, you teach what grade level?
I teach middle school, alternative school. But I mean, the concept is the same. You know, as mayor, my job is to help educate people and keep them informed and keep them connected to what's going on. My job as a middle school English teacher is to keep them informed and help keep them connected and help put them on the right path. So, you know, it's
you're built for this job.
A transferable skill set. I will say that.
All right. So we're going to go take our first question from Facebook. Okay. This is from Kathy. Kathy asks, where is this proposed data center going to be?
Okay. So there's one misconception that is built into that question that I'd like to correct. As of close of business Friday, there is no application to put in a data center. There is no development agreement that has been submitted. There is no official anything that says we're going to get a data center from this company in this spot. Now, what I can tell you is what most people are already aware of, is that our area is being heavily recruited to put data centers in. It's not just.
I'm just joking.
You know, it's not just Port Wentworth. It's Rincon and it's Hinesville and it's Brunswick. Basically, anywhere with a couple of connected acres that they can build on is being recruited. Because let's be honest, we're on our phones all the time. And whether people realize it or not, a lot of the things that we do on our phones are programmed by AI and they're run by AI, whether we're aware of it or not. So even if you're not like an active AI user intentionally, if you're using anything on the internet right now, you're using AI. So these have to go somewhere, and these companies are actively looking for places to put them.
Maybe the data center will be good because then they'll hear instead of just looking at their phones, and maybe it'll be like, oh, if I stop looking at my phone and interact with people, I don't need that sound constantly.
Well, like I said, as of close of business Friday, there's nothing has been officially proposed, but we're being scouted just like everybody else is at this point.
It's not a bad
Did that
thing to be
answer the
scouted. It means you
question?
have something to offer.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, I think so.
You did great.
But if that is not one being proposed and all that stuff, if there was one to come, where would it go?
I mean, process of elimination, we have this fantastic industrial park that has been put together across from Rice Hope. And I think that we would be naive to think that that's not where they're looking if we're being scouted. So I think, I mean, it makes sense to assume that that's where one would go because that was, the purpose of an industrial park is to put industry there. And even though AI doesn't make something specific like most industrial classifications do, it is considered a type of industry. Now, before any other questions, please understand, I live in this community too. I have children that go to school in this community. I understand your frustrations because I share them. Anything that happens to you in this community is also going to happen to me. And probably a little worse because I'm the person who has to come out and talk about it. So what I'm trying to do as your new mayor is to be as honest as I can with the information that I have and to reach as many of you as possible so that you guys have correct information. Because the rumors that are flying around, it only makes things more complicated, gets people wound up. And as of right now, there's not a huge reason to be wound up. I think that huge reason might happen if paperwork starts rolling in for something. So
can I just ask you one question on that? And this is not, I know that Sean Randawala and Councilman Barbie said that if they could strengthen the zoning ordinance, they would be on board to do that. Would you also be in favor of strengthening the ordinance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As mayor, I only get to vote in case of a tie, but that doesn't mean I don't have a voice. And I'm not afraid to use my voice. I think the ordinance as written is too weak. I think it doesn't offer the protections that the city and its residents truly deserve. But I also think that this process was a learning curve for everybody. It wasn't necessarily something that everybody was able to jump into having previous expertise in it. When word got out that there were people who were scouting the region for data centers, and we realized that there was nothing to protect the city at all in our ordinances, they had to move fast, which is something I didn't understand at the beginning of this process.
Now, we could have done a moratorium. So, I mean, we could have slowed the process down. Right?
Yes,
So,
yes, they could have.
And I know you weren't involved in that part. So, I mean, I'm just trying to say, like, we moved fast, but we could have put a moratorium on it. Now, that had nothing to do with you. I'm just trying to say, like, we could have done that. Okay,
yes.
So
yes.
that's all I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, the council at the time could have. But again, I think what people don't realize is that the council members are people just like y'all. And we are given information. And because of our positions in the community, we are expected to learn it and process it and be able to use it faster than everybody else, which is a fair expectation. But at the same time, there's no mercy given to any of them for that learning process. And, as a teacher, I sympathize because I know how hard it is to learn some of this stuff. I'm an English teacher. I don't math if I don't have to. And I have been getting a crash course in some seriously advanced level finance stuff lately. So, I think people need to understand that we're learning along with them, and we are also on that same learning curve.
But I'm happy to hear that you guys are willing to go stronger on the ordinance. So I'm happy to hear that. It seems like everybody's in unison on that. So that makes me feel good. And I hope that everybody listening feels good about that too, because this is the third public servant that we've had come on that said if they could make it stronger, they would. So I'm happy to hear that. So thank you very much for that.
I think it just makes sense.
The next Facebook question comes from Jody.
Okay.
He wants to know if you can tell us about the tax anticipation note that just took place.
Yes. A few seconds ago when I mentioned that crash course in advanced finance,
It was this.
it was this.
It was.
So essentially, a tax anticipation note is a loan that's taken out so that you can access the money that you were contractually obligated to get further down the road. The way that I sort of understand it is, as a teacher, I work 12 months out of the year, or I work 10 months out of the year, but my paycheck is spread out over 12 months of the year, even though for 2 of those months I'm not working as a teacher. Okay. They hold that money so that my financial situation is a lot smoother through the course of the year. And that's sort of how a tax anticipation note works. It's a low interest, short-term loan that helps smooth out those hills and valleys in regular finance. Now, some things to keep in mind. People are saying that the city's broke, that they can't make payroll. Well, the reality is there's about $19 million in the city's reserve funds right now.
Can I have it?
That's a lot of money. So the city is far from broke, regardless of what you might read on social media. The other thing to keep in mind is that the bank that is doing this loan for us is the bank that we do business with. Now, they would be the perfect people to evaluate how well our city is managing money and to decide not to loan the city money if we were doing a poor job of managing that money. They didn't say no. So to me, what that says is that they see the city making smart financial decisions, making financial decisions for the long term, and understanding that the city is actually doing what it's supposed to do. Now, I had never heard of a tax anticipation note until this subject came up, and I did a little research. And over the past 12 to 18 months, there have been at least 6 counties and municipalities who have used a tax anticipation note in order to help make their budgets smooth out over the course of a year. And from what I've been able to find, everything turned out the way that it should have for each of those places. And that information is readily available online if you feel like doing some rabbit hole digging.
I love a good rabbit hole digging.
Oh yeah, that was a big rabbit hole.
I mean, it's crazy that you have to learn all this stuff quickly. Is there a course for you guys to learn this? Like mayors, there's a course for you guys, right? That you guys get to go to learn?
There's a ton of classes that we get to go to. I actually leave for Atlanta right after work on Thursday, and I'll be in classes Friday and Saturday, and I think part of Sunday. And it's everything from municipal finance to planning and zoning, legal issues. There's an ethics certification program, and you earn certificates in each of these areas to demonstrate that you're committed to actually learning the information that you need to do your job. And I get started on Friday, so I'm excited.
I hope you got a big notebook.
I do. Listen, I'm an English teacher. There's not much more I love than a brand new notebook. So
it just smells so good. It just smells so good.
Yep. Fresh, clean paper, nice pen.
So another Facebook question. Okay. Tissa asked, is there an update on the traffic light by Rice Hope? You know, the murder intersection?
Oh my God, please don't call it that. That's the last thing that we need to have hashtags.
It's like a wild west up in there.
You just gotta know how to drive, okay?
I go out by the Publix lights, so I mean, I've just succumbed to it.
I don't blame you. I don't pull out there unless it's just me in the car and it's late at night. Like that's the only time I will drive that section.
Brandon's like, I don't care. Brandon's like, I'm just gonna go.
Initially, that traffic light should have been slated to be done by March. However, with the widening of 21 and I don't want to say realization, but the widening of 21 has necessitated a move of the Georgia power lines further back from the road. And that has complicated putting the stoplight in, and they can't put the stoplight in until the Georgia power lines are moved.
For the widening. Oh,
Where are they
wow.
widening it?
On 21,
Yeah.
all the way through the city.
When?
They have been doing the surveying process over the last 6, 8 months, I think. I've seen surveyors out there every so often doing that. But again, it works at the speed of state government, which isn't always fast. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt.
And then you
The
add a
bad-
major corporation
The
that
badder
has
the
to do the
hand.
moving, right? Because they have to move it, right? Georgia Power.
Yes, Georgia Power has to move their power lines.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it could be a while. Is that what you're saying?
I hope not, but I don't have a new timeline for that. But as soon as I have one, I will absolutely share it.
I don't know if they want to help you guys really quickly from the article I read earlier today
Which article was that?
about the transformer thing blowing up and frying all the appliances.
Oh
What?
yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of posts about their grounding thing in their box. It exploded like the day before Christmas, and it fried all of their like major appliances.
Yeah, this one family, and they applied to have Georgia Power replace their appliances, and Georgia Power said, no, it's not our fault.
And there's multiple.
Even though it was their equipment that did it.
It wasn't their faulty equipment.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Good job, Georgia Power.
Whoa.
Wait, isn't that something we talked about before about if someone goes after Georgia Power, the people that are paying Georgia Power are kind of held up? Was that Georgia Power?
I don't remember us talking about that.
I don't either.
The lady that lives off the road that's trying to sue a big company.
I don't know.
Oh,
Okay.
well, we'll talk about it later. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll get on to Melissa. So Melissa said, I think for me the biggest thing is growth of Port Wentworth as a whole, though, through economics developments that is right for taxpayers / residents. I don't mind more businesses as long as it is reflective of what our community wants and needs and is not driven by corporation greed and pocket lining. I love to hear what the plan is for improving roads, library considerations, and overall betterment of this town looks livable, not like a drive-through.
That's another one of those questions that has a lot to unpack in it.
There's a lot to read.
Well, and they're good issues. They're things that people care about. You know, y'all asked me at the beginning of this what some of my biggest surprises were in becoming mayor. One of them is all of the things that I can't talk about because it could ruin a deal that somebody is working on bringing somebody into the city. If you have a big business or a chain restaurant or a chain store that is working a development deal with the city, they want that to stay absolutely secret until everything is signed, because competition in that business community is ferocious. So, you know, we all have those friends that we can trust with our secrets and those friends that we really can't trust with our secrets. The city has to be that friend that you can absolutely trust with your secrets, because one slip of the tongue can absolutely tank a development. It can tank a business relationship that had taken years to develop. There was a ad campaign back in World War II, loose lips sink ships. You know, so
I heard that in the military all the time.
Yeah, there are lots of things that you can't talk about. So there's this perception that things are happening behind the scenes. It's not perception, it's reality. But those things that are happening behind the scenes happen behind the scenes because they have to, because of the way the business community works. And so when I tell you that every day, all day, there are people who are working to recruit the kinds of things we all want in the city. We want stores so that we don't have to leave to go buy an outfit. We want full service restaurants. We want those things in our city. But that recruitment process is hard. And getting from, the initial idea to a signed contract, to a location, to a building can take years. And in that process, one slip up can make it all go away. So part of the accusation about people in government being secretive, I think, is true because they have to be. Because to do the things that the people want them to do, they can't talk about those things because it will scare away the businesses. That was a big thing for me.
Conspiracy theorists happen.
Yes. But the thing is it's not done to keep it away from people on purpose. It's a way to protect the business that's trying to come to the city. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
Like you say, you didn't want. I mean, we were talking before. That they don't want their competitors to know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right. So another one from Facebook.
Bring it on.
And actually, I want to catch up on the comments real quick. So Jive, the upstart, said most of us have noise canceling devices in our ears, anyways. Laugh out loud. Talking about the data centers, I assume. And then Josh says government equals slow, which I think everybody would agree with. So Sherry from Facebook says, explain exactly how the city can't meet payroll and explain harassing a 91-year-old man for anything, much less leaves along his fits.
Okay, so those are two very different issues. The first one I think we already addressed. The city is meeting payroll just fine. Again, $19 million in reserves. The TAN is a way to kind of smooth out the hills and valleys in the budget. We covered that. Harassing a 91-year-old man. I don't think that it's set out to be harassment. I'm the kind of person that I genuinely will believe the best in somebody until you give me a real good reason not to. But she's talking about a code enforcement situation. A 91-year-old gentleman received some paperwork. I don't know if it was a citation or a warning about leaves that needed to be raked. And, you know, of course, the internet response was fierce and fast. And I messaged. Yeah.
But how fierce and fast were they to grab a rake to go help him?
Actually, pretty fast, because I sent a message to the person who posted that post to find out if people had volunteered to come and help him, because I think I saw the post. It was a Friday or a Saturday. And I was like, not do anything tomorrow afternoon. I could go help rake his yard. That's not a big deal. So I messaged the woman who posted that and was like, hey, were you able to find people to help? And she said, yeah, we got it taken care of. I said, okay, good. Cause I was going to dig my rake out. And, honestly, I was a little relieved because yard work, not my favorite thing. But, you know, like I told her, you have to be the community that you want to see in the community. And if you have a 91-year-old neighbor who needs help raking his yard,
go help him.
Then you help him rake his yard.
Community.
And that's what happened. You know, I know people in the community. I know there are people who don't like code enforcement. But I've heard from just as many people who are honestly a little afraid to admit this in public that do like code enforcement.
Well, we know who doesn't like code enforcement. It's the people that get tickets, right? Mm-hmm. There's the ones that don't like code enforcement. And I mean, I could understand that.
Yeah. And I get it. It's frustrating. I mean, nobody likes to be called out, you know? But again, that's where your community comes in. You know, they came together to help this guy get his yard cleaned up. And that's what community does. You step in and you help people when they need it. And that's one of the things that I think code enforcement actually could help our community do, is to bring back that sense of supporting each other when we need help.
It's just
and just because I'm really curious how it works, I have ride-alongs scheduled for the next couple of weeks with both code enforcement and regular police officers, so I can kind of get a feel for how and why they do the things that they do.
Active learning.
Yeah,
that's great.
I'm kind of excited.
That's awesome. No, real quick. If you're out there watching, please, if you have any questions for Tracy, please put them in the comments. We will ask her right here, right now. If you like what Tracy's doing, she's doing a ride along with the police and code enforcement, and she's raking yards. Give it a like on the video.
I didn't actually rake a yard. I was willing to.
She wanted to. She was going to.
I didn't have the opportunity, so. But, I mean, that's what you do, you know. If somebody needs help, you step in.
I think we got out of that a long time ago, which is really sad.
I think
COVID.
COVID shut a lot of that down. And I think
Yeah.
people just sort of forgot how to relate to people in real life.
Unless it's on a phone or on a screen. But stay on this screen. Stay on this screen.
If you take the screen and swipe the leaves, right? Just move it off the fence.
It's like Farmville. It's like the Farmville.
Excuse me.
So
All right, what's next?
the infrastructure is always a pressure point with growth. Roads, drainage, utilities. What area is most urgent right now, and what is the city doing to get ahead of the future strain?
So, and this is, again, I'm an English teacher playing catch up with learning all of this stuff. But from what I can see, I think that the drainage issues that the city is dealing with is probably the most important one to deal with, simply because of where we are. You know, we've dodged some serious major hurricanes, and you know, it's only a matter of time until we get hit. And with those drainage issues, the amount of water that we get in a storm like that could be devastating. And I, for one, don't want to have to go rescue people in a canoe. And
But you will.
I mean, I don't have a canoe.
With your rake.
I got a kayak.
I don't want to see that happen to my city. And those problems create problems with the wastewater treatment plant. It creates problems with road stability. So, I think that's probably the best place to start. However, I am not an engineer. I am not a concrete specialist. I am not a sewage specialist, nor am I a wastewater treatment specialist. What I am is a person who's been mayor for 19 days with about this much knowledge and a platform that's about this big on a computer screen. But I do know the city we're getting some information back from a study that was done about how all of those wastewater issues and drainage issues work together to create problems. And what we're supposed to find out is how and where to start that mitigation process. And I think that will be the best way to deal with that, is to, once we actually have the facts about where water flows from one road to another and, how all of it's working together. Once we have that information, then we can figure out how to pay for the fix, which is going to be the next step.
Okay. All right. So we got from Jive the upstart. How does your mayoral capacity intersect with Savannah's politics? Good question.
So far it hasn't intersected very much at all. I've had 2 conversations with Van Johnson, who is just a delightful human being. I got to sit next to him during a luncheon and just had an absolute blast listening to him talk about, things with the city and, things at the state and national level and organizations that he's a part of. He's incredibly smart. He's incredibly passionate, and he's got a great sense of humor.
I hear nothing but good things.
I don't always agree with everything he says or does, but I always respect the fact that it's coming from a place that is uniquely Van.
I met him at the chili cook-off. He was really nice. He was nice.
There's a group called the No Agenda. They do a thing called the No Agenda Lunch, which is all of the mayors in the area get together and have lunch without an agenda, and try to do it in a place where there's not a lot of people around, so we can actually pick each other's brains and talk about stuff. And so I got to, it was fascinating. Just to meet
imagine for a brand new mayor, that's got to be invaluable.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a big notebook too.
Yes, that's a whole other brand new notebook. And honestly, the support that I've gotten from these people has been amazing. I text regularly with several mayors from other communities, and we get information. We see how their cities are doing things compared to how we're doing things, and the support is great. It's been fantastic. I cannot say enough good things about especially Pooler's mayor, Karen Williams. She's been a phenomenal mentor for me. Always ready to answer questions. I've started to get to know Richmond Hill's new mayor, Christy Cox. She's great. It's a whole new circle of people that I never in a million years thought I would be a part of, that has just been invaluable in starting to learn how to navigate all of this.
It's awesome.
I love your eagerness to learn. I think that goes a long way.
That's why I just feel like you're going to be a great mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're always willing to help. You're always willing to learn. You always listen, talk to people and listen. So I think you're going to be fantastic.
Well, thank you.
You stepped up on a platform in front of all the people and extra people too to speak, which is invaluable to a lot of people.
Listen, I was so stressed out about that. I don't even remember giving that speech. I remember one part of it because I can't believe when I tell this story. So I was running late getting there. And as we were pulling into the parking lot, I accidentally deleted my speech. And my printer had run out of paper, so I didn't have a paper copy of it. So I'm scrolling through my phone madly looking for the most recent version of it. And I found what I thought it was. It was not. And so when I finished the thank you part of the speech and moved into the speech part of the speech, about 2 sentences in, I was like, wait a minute.
This is not
wasn't everything. But I couldn't exactly stop and go back. So I had to find somebody after the speech and apologize for the lack of inclusion and share what I was going to say. Luckily,
sorry, Mom.
Good sport. No, it was probably the second hardest thing I've ever done. The election part, the first. Giving that speech was the second. So yeah.
But you're getting good at it now, though. Practice.
Yes.
All right. So finally, what gives you the most optimism about Port Wentworth's future? And what do you need from the community to help make that vision a reality?
Okay, so my granddaughter is a Pee Wee cheerleader for Port Wentworth. And there's a little girl on her team. Every time this child sees me, she just goes, "It's the mayor!" And she runs up and gives me a great big hug. Her mom smiles and says hi, and we chit chat. And it is such a great thing to be a woman in leadership for that kid. She probably, she knows me as the mayor. I'm my granddaughter's grandmother, but she gets excited because I'm the mayor. And in her world, that is huge. And the fact that I'm a woman doing that job for little girls, that's important for them to see. So just from a representation standpoint, I love everything about that, because that's a little girl who's on fire for something that she might not have seen before. That just warms everything. And I love the fact that there are people in the community who are not afraid to stop and talk to me. I've been stopped at the grocery store. I've, had conversations in parking lots. I've had conversations where I've stopped at a stop sign and ended up talking to somebody that honestly, I never in a million years thought that I would have a good conversation with, because he was somebody who was very anti-Tracy during election season. But we talked for an hour.
He know no better. He know no better.
Well, but the thing, and that's just it. Until you talk to somebody, until you are face to face with them, you cannot get a read on who they are or what they truly stand for. And I spent an hour talking with this man, and we talked about the things that the downtown area needs and wants. We talked about, his history in the community. I got to see pictures from his childhood. I got to meet his dog. And we ended on a handshake and a half hug. And had you told me 4 months ago that that's how the next interaction I had with that man would be, I would, no, not in a million years. He hates me, wants nothing to do with me. But in talking to him, I feel like I'm making headway. I know not everybody's going to like me. I know not everybody's going to respect me. But I give people a chance, and I believe in second chances. And I want people to look at me as somebody that they can talk to and go to help navigate the city and to help make it a better place. That's what I'm here to do. And I've been finding little bits and pieces of that along the way. And it's really, really cool.
I really think that's what sets you apart, though, honestly. The fact that you're willing to stop and have a conversation with the people. And I think that's what government is missing a lot, honestly.
Right. I think sometimes, and I agree with Brandon, and I agree with you. Like, we are trying to do this so we can open up the door so people can see you, see the other council people. We're trying to. I'm reaching out to Pooler, reaching out to Richmond Hill, trying to set up this platform so that the people can actually connect with their representatives, because oftentimes, without them being able to get to see you, Facebook just becomes easy, right? They just get to be on there and they just typing away and no thought in their mind and never a thought to change it. When these are the kind of things that if they get to know you and see these videos and they start to understand your point of view. They may not agree, but they know your point of view.
Right.
Jive the Upstart said first elected official I've ever heard that sounds like a real person. Refreshing.
Thank you.
That's why I'm happy you've came on. So before we close this down, because we're getting to it's getting running long a little bit, I'm going to put your information on the board again, and I'm going to hide the chat so that we can have your information for the citizens of Port Wentworth. If you can't get a hold of your representative for Rice Hope, and it's Sean Randweiler, for at large is Thomas Barbie and Art Lease, correct? Art Lisa?
Art, both.
Huh?
She'll answer to both.
Okay. And then so call them, reach out to them. They want to talk to you. I swear to God, they want to talk to you.
They really do.
Adam,
they really do.
Read the comment, Adam.
What?
Read the
Adam.
comment.
All right, Adam Alday, Mayor Tracy. I'm excited to see what all you do as mayor for our city. One thing I appreciate about you is that you're the only one message away, and I agree with that. You are. So I appreciate you coming on. One more question before I let you go.
Okay.
If you could recommend two people to come on our show and talk to us, who would those two people be and why?
Do you want current elected officials or people running for office?
Whoever you think we should talk to.
Well, I'm going to say Karen Williams from Pooler. She's fantastic. And then, Christy is another first-time female mayor in a pretty big city. So Christy Cox would be fantastic. I've met some really great candidates along the way. So, if you start running out of ideas, let me know, because there's some really good people running for office who could definitely use the platform.
Well, we're definitely here to spread the word. So please, if you could help us facilitate that, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. Listen, I'll text them as soon as we're done.
And once again, we always appreciate you coming on. If you ever need to spread the word about anything Port Wentworth, you just let us know, and you've got a place to talk. And for everybody,
you guys are fun.
And for everybody that's joined and talked, Jive the Upstart, Josh, thank you guys so much. Adam, thank you so much for commenting. If you haven't liked yet, please like. And I really appreciate you guys coming on. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Y'all take care. Have a nice week.
You too, love.